Now I'm going to stop this. Let's go to the object. One thing that you'll notice is that we can't really see the smaller rays. And the reason for that is because here on the material, the principal shader Thunderbolt that I was using just for preview purposes, it is set to use point color. So let's make sure that our point color, let's go to the object. Here on the Thunderbolt main, let's make sure that we have normals and color. That's always a good idea. So let's create color. Say it's white, and it's white. And let's say we have normals. There is a reason why I'm not doing this after the merge, but I'll explain in a moment. We can apply normals after the merge, that's fine. But the color, we're gonna be keeping it separate because we will be using different settings for these. So if we apply the same system here on the head, so let's create a color, white, let's create a copy, white, and let's create normals. Let's go up. Let's, we don't even need to go up. I'm just going up just because. And now we should see the smaller rays. They might be a bit too thin. No, but I think they're good. Okay, so that was the reason why they weren't visible before. Now, what I was saying is that I'm not going to be using completely white on these smaller rays. I want kind of them to fade all the way to the tip. Slightly fade. So what we can do to achieve that effect is we already have a parameter here on this geometry. Let's bring out the geometry spreadsheet. We already have the curve view. And remember, the curve view goes from 0 at the starting point to 1 at the end. And we can, instead of setting a uniform color for all the points, we can just create a point wrangle and say that my color, let's actually say like this, color is going to be equal to curve view. And once we've done that, we'll see that you have color, and the color is going to be exactly the same value as curve view. And now when we render this out, instead of using this one, since our material is already considering the use of the point color, we should see a gradient on these ones. Not on those because we still haven't done this to those, but we should see a gradient here. It's barely noticeable, but just to make sure, let's create a ramp parameter. So the ramp parameter is going to be called color ramp, and it's going to use the curve view attribute. Let's create it, and here I'm just going to say everything's black and just the tip is white. Let's go here, make sure this renders. One trick that you can use is even though I have the display flag here, you can control and click on the display flag, and this will activate the render flag for this one. So it's always going to render out this one, even though I might just be seeing that one. Okay, so what I did is I hit everything and I removed the material. I removed the material from the material space here, just so we can actually see the color of the objects. And as you can see, it's working, but it's working on a reverse direction. So right now I don't want the tip to be white. I actually want the reverse. So I'm going to remove this one, and I'm going to say this white, and this is black. Okay, so now it's kind of fading. It has the effect that I was going for. Okay, let's say it's full white here, and then it starts to fade. Also gonna maybe set the interpolation to get more ROM here, so it kind of does a nicer curve. And I'm gonna say set color from curve view. I'm gonna copy this one, Control C, and let's make sure everything's visible. And here on the Thunderbolt head, I'm going to do the same thing. So this one is no longer necessary, and I'm just going to Control V this one and make it there. And it should be exactly the same thing. I'm going to go up. Also going to remove the material from here. And we should see that effect. So here on the Thunderbolt head, it's also displaying that. Let's actually add some nulls, some outputs here. So let's create a null called out ray main. I'm going to copy. This is actually going to be the one that's always going to be rendering. So Control and click on the display flag. And here, same thing. So Control V, out ray head. So this is going to be the renders. Control, click on the display flag. Going up. And so we have the gradient that I wanted. And the next step is going to be for us to go to the material. And instead of using this shader, we'll create our own shader.